All right, well, hi, guys. We're going to talk about power supply units. I know, just what you've been dreaming about. So let's get to it. So the PSU, or power supply unit, this is an internal IT hardware component. Now, despite the name, power supply units, or PSUs, do not actually supply systems with power. Instead, you see, they convert it. Pretty cool. Now, specifically, right, a power supply converts the alternating high current, which is known as AC, into direct current, which is also known as DC. So they also regulate the DC output voltage to the fine tolerances required for these modern computing components. Now, most power supplies are switched mode SMPS, which has both efficiency advantages and makes designing for multiple voltage inputs easier. So this means that most PSUs can operate in different countries, where the power input might be different. In the UK, for instance, the voltage is 240 volts at 50 hertz, whereas in the USA, the voltage is 120 volts at 60 hertz. And in Australia, it's 230 volts at 50 hertz. Now, the power supply unit is, of course, a crucial part of any server. Without it, your IT infrastructure, wouldn't work. So it's no surprise, then, that most systems include a power supply upon purchase. However, there is an alternative to the PSU that can be used in certain instances. So by choosing power over Ethernet, or PoE, electrical power can be carried within network cables without being tethered to an electrical outlet. Now, this can be ideal for systems that need more flexibility, because PoE can provide wireless access points, wherever it's most convenient, and less space is taken up by wiring. So first, when you're choosing a power supply unit, it's important to make sure it's compatible with the form factor of your server case and motherboard. This will ensure it fits within your server. Secondly, wattage is an important factor to consider. The higher the wattage rating, the more power the unit can provide to your system, meaning that you need to evaluate how much power your components require to run effectively. So for instance, if the components in your system require 600 volts, certainly it would be ideal to buy a 1200-volt power supply unit, as most power supplies have the highest efficiency at about 50% load. Make sense? So this also allows for room to expand your system with further components if those are needed later, and how are you going to know? But lastly, when replacing or upgrading a PC power supply unit, it really is important to take brands into consideration. There are some popular brands for power supplies, and that would be Corsair, Antec, EVGA, Seasonic. But the choice often just comes down to personal preference, compatibility with your system, and what you are using the power supply for. For example, gaming, small or large business, personal use. Now, just one piece of advice, though, would be to look out for an 80+ platinum rating. This has great energy efficiency and can minimize power costs. So 80+ power supplies. These have a scale of efficiency, going from, guess what, 80+ and 80+ bronze all the way to titanium. So what does 80+ actually mean? That power supplies in this range will always operate at 80% efficiency at a minimum. And as you go up the scale towards 80+ platinum and titanium, you can experience up to 94% efficiency. When, of course, you have to remember, at 50% load. The latest 80+ PSUs require high wattage in order to run most effectively. And so the 80+ gold, platinum, and titanium supplies, up to 94%, are ideal for large data centers. 80+ silver power supplies and below, typically a maximum efficiency of 88%, are more suitable for PCs and desktops. Now, you do have to remember that the difference between 90% efficiency rating and a 92% efficiency rating is going to make a massive difference in terms of energy utilized within large-scale data centers. All right. So in short, a server will always need at least 2 power supplies. Yeah, there are different modes of operation for this depending on how much redundancy you need in your system and other factors, but one option is to have a fully redundant power supply system. So that means that one PSU is always switched off, and there's an emergency fallback in case of downtime. So the other option would be to have shared power supplies, where both are on at the same time and actually share the workload. At TechBuyer, they recommend that you provide double the amount of wattage than you actually need, and that will ensure optimum uptime. Now, for maximum redundancy, it's also a good idea to have an uninterrupted power supply, or UPS. This enables your computer to run for a limited time if power is lost, which can happen. There are 3 types, though: online, offline, and line interactive. So let's break it down. Online uninterrupted power supplies ensure the quality of power remains constant, whereas offline UPSs start running when the power is lost, and therefore will be a slight delay when it takes over. Line interactive is a combination of the two and provides more power protection thanks to its line conditioning. Hey, guess what? That's it. Now you know everything about power supply units. Pretty cool, huh? So, stick around. I want to see you in the next lesson. We got more to do.